Alright, this lesson is dealing with more about linear equations. So let's look at our objectives for the day. We're going to answer the question, what other information can we use to write equations and graph functions? So then we're going to write an equation given only 2 points, and we're going to write equations in standard form. So the first vocabulary word, the equation of a line in point-slope form through the point x1, y1 with slope m is written as y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. Then standard form is just getting all the x's and y's on one side and the number on the other side. A, B, and C are all whole numbers. There are no fractions in standard form. The slopes of parallel lines are equal, and the slopes of perpendicular lines are negative reciprocals. So that'll be helpful when we do those in a minute. So if we have this information, a line passes through the point negative 5, 2 and has a slope of 3/5, let's write an equation for that. So since we're given a point and we're given a slope, which form do you think we're going to use? Point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. Remember that our points are always in the order x, y. So I have y minus 2 equals 3/5 times the quantity x minus a negative 5, or x plus 5. Pretty easy, right? Okay, I want you to go ahead and try this one. Ta-da! Pretty simple. Alright, so if you're given 2 points, how can we write an equation? Well, we have a point. Can we find a slope given 2 points? Of course we can. So we're going to use our slope equation, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to do 8 minus 2 over 5 minus 3. 8 minus 2 is 6. 5 minus 3 is 2, so our slope is 3. Now, you can use either point when you write this. So I'm going to go ahead and write both of them. You only have to do one. So the first one would be y minus 2 equals 3 times x minus 3. And the second one would be y minus 8 equals 3 times x minus 5. Now if you were to solve both of those and put them into slope-intercept form, that y equals mx plus b, you're going to find that they're going to be the exact same equation. Okay, go ahead and pause and write an equation for this. Alright, so that's what I got. If you have the zeros in there, you don't necessarily have to include them. You can write it as y equals 7/5 times x plus 5. Y minus 7 equals 7/5 x. That would be fine too. Okay, when we write equations in standard form, they can be given to us in, any form. But the first thing we want to do is we want to clear the fractions. So if I have this, I want to get rid of this 4 in the denominator. So what would be a way I could get rid of this 4? I'm going to multiply everything times 4. So I'm going to multiply 4 on this side, and I'm going to multiply 4 on this side. Make sure you distribute. So 4 times y is 4y. 3/4 times 4 is just 3. So now I have 3x, and 4 times 5 is negative 20. Okay, now from here, I I want to get the x's and y's on the same side, so I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So I get negative 3x plus 4y equals negative 20. Also, one other thing, you don't want your x to be negative. So I'm just going to go ahead and multiply everything times negative 1 now. So my standard form of this equation would be 3x minus 4y equals 20. That would be standard form. Alright, so here's just a little blurb. So slope-intercept form is used when you have the slope and you know the intercept. Point-slope form is used when you have 2 points or a point and a slope. And then standard form you can use and substitute in 0 for x and 0 for y to get your x and y intercepts, and that can be easier for graphing, which is what we're going to do now. Okay, so for this one, if I wanted to graph this and I didn't want to put it in slope-intercept form, I could just take and substitute in and find out where it crosses the x and y axis. So to find where it crosses y, I would make x be 0, and to find where it crosses x, I would make y be 0. So let's find a y first. So 3 times 0 plus 5y equals 15. That's going to cancel. Just divide by 5. Y equals 3. And then I'll do the same thing again, substituting in 0 for y. That's going to become 0. So I just have to divide by 3. X equals 5. Now, if I were to graph that, I have that my y-intercept is 3, so on the y-axis I'm going to go to 3, have my x-intercept is 5, and then I can just connect those dots. So there's another way that you can graph, and that's pretty quick and easy. Okay, go ahead and find just the intercepts of this one, and I'm going to trust that you can be able to put them on a graph. Alright, I got my y-intercept at negative 2 and my x-intercept at 4. Hopefully that's what you got too. Alright, just so you can see, if you have never seen parallel lines before, which you should have because geometry is a prerequisite and we talked about this a lot. This is what they look like. Perpendicular lines, they cross each other, and do you remember what exactly they make? A 90-degree angle. So when we have parallel lines, so once in slope-intercept form of a line that's parallel to 6x minus 2 that goes through the point 1, negative 3. Now for this one, we have a point, but can we find what the slope is? Well, if it's a parallel line, what do we know about their slope? They're the same, so we can just steal the slope from this one and say that our slope is going to be 6. So I have a slope and a point, so what form am I going to put it in? Probably point-slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'm just going to substitute in values. Y plus 3 equals 6 times x minus 1. And you're done. That's it. What about when we have a perpendicular line? Well, again, we're given a point. What do we know about slopes of perpendicular lines? From your vocabulary, you should have learned that they're opposite reciprocals. So since this is negative 4, my slope is going to be a positive number, and instead of being 4 over 1, I'm going to take and flip that over, and it's going to be 1 over 4. So my new slope is 1/4. So we're going to take and plug those in. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y minus 5 equals 1/4 times x minus 8. That's your equation. Okay, go ahead and write down these parallel and perpendicular lines. There you go, that's what I got when I solved for them. I even put my work on there. Hopefully you can see what you might have done wrong if you didn't get that. Here's your lesson check. Go ahead and have those done and work on your lesson while you wait for your partner to finish up watching their video.